Hello. Just doing a little. Did you notice, is there more light now? Who knows? Okay, good. Hello, dears. Hello. Those of you new to the work today, welcome here. In this community, we identify the cause of our suffering. We identify what we're thinking and believing in any situation where we were feeling any kind of fear, discomfort, discontent, hatred, just misunderstanding. But we move what we're thinking and believing, those thoughts, from our head to paper, and we place them there. And I even have an easy way of supporting you in that. I call it the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet. And you just answer the questions as you anchor in that situation where you were so fearful, hurt. And you fill in the worksheet and then you question. So that's what we do here in this community. Okay, so I sum it up like this: judge your neighbor, write it down, ask for questions and turn it around. Done. Okay, now you know it's, and I don't call it the work for nothing. It's an exercise in stillness. Exercise in stillness. Caroline, you have a question.
Yes, I have a question. And
Hi, Caroline. Honey, hold it. I have one more housekeeping thing. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. See, we have no proof I even that I even walked away other than right here, right now. In the head, all in the head. Okay, sweetie, I just can't help being myself. So I interrupted you and I sincerely apologize for that.
no, it's fine. Some things have to be done.
Okay, so your question, sweetie.
So there's something that I've been struggling for a long time with, and it's like a feeling of loneliness that I've been trying to work through.
Yeah.
And that it just like keeps coming back to me, and like this feeling of separation. And
Okay, so locate a time when you were experiencing that, like loneliness.
yes.
Okay. Now notice, are you in the kitchen? Are you in the living room? Are you in the bedroom? Are you walking your dog? Just notice that situation where you're feeling lonely, and then fill in a worksheet from that situation. What you were thinking and believing. When I say fill in a worksheet, we're simply moving what we were thinking and believing in that situation from our head to paper. We're moving it there. And then we question one belief at a time, the thoughts we were thinking then. And it's extraordinary what happens. Eventually, this work is a practice. It's a practice in stillness, and it takes a lot of courage. And it's incredible. It's incredible that we don't have to pray for, or not have enough money for, or the ability to, because we're ill in the hospital or in our sick bed at home, or because we're single and we want to be married, or we're married and we want to be all of that. We can identify what we're thinking and believing in any situation and move it from our head to paper on that worksheet. And free your mind, honey. You're lonely. Is it true? Go back to that time and place where you were believing it. Anchor there. You're lonely. Is it true?
Feels true, yeah.
Yeah, and notice how you react when you think the thought, I'm lonely. Notice those images of the past. What do you see? You see all those couples together and they just look so happy. Happy, happy, those people. You know, we don't see that they're on the way to the doctor, third visit for a cancer treatment. You know, we don't see that they're two compatible people walking to the courthouse to get a divorce. I mean, we don't see, no, the ego offers up. Oh my gosh, oh, they were so happy in our mind's eye, and that's what I want. You know, those images of past. And to notice those images of the future when you're thinking the thought, I'm lonely. What are those pictures? What do they look like? Those pictures of the future. Ah! Yeah. Not funny. Those images of the future. One little fear and terror, get a future.
Mm.
One little guilt and shame, get a pass. The ego just is there to offer it all up. Why? Wake up to the gift of life, the gift of soul, heart, love, and how to live here in art school as an enlightened being, which is just a term for a loving, caring human being. Loving, caring human being is kind of like the definition of fearlessness. Love isn't fearful. I'm lonely. Who would you be without the thought in that situation? Where you're thinking the thought, I'm lonely, and those images of past, future, and who would you be without those images in your head? Just get anchored where you are. Who would you be without the thought, I'm lonely? Look around the room. Other than what you're thinking and believing, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. And
Yeah, and if you had a partner and they were in the kitchen and you were sitting where you're sitting, for all you know, they're dead, or they walked out of the house, they went to the store, the grocery store, or something. I mean, you have no idea. You have no idea. But you see that image of them in the kitchen, and you just feel so secure, not lonely, for example. Oh, hmm. Would you be without the thought, I'm lonely? So look around the room. Notice your breath. Are you okay?
yeah, I'm very much okay.
Yeah. Well, if you had a partner, you want a partner to be okay. Well, you got it now. You're even smiling.
Yeah, I mean, because I've been there before. Like I've been going through this process intellectually like 100 times, and
Oh, intellectually won't, you know, oh, that's what I love about self-inquiry. It's not intellectual, it's noticing. It's an exercise in stillness. Yeah.
it's tricky sometimes though.
Yeah, well, the ego is intellectual, and the ego is not a terrible thing. It's just not real. It's a state of mind. To honor and notice anything that powerful that it could give us the illusion of not now. Wow, that's that's some power. But it's only powerful if we believe it. That's the connection. Mind is Nothing unless we attach to it. In other words, believe it. So you're lonely. Turn it around. What is the opposite of I'm lonely?
Um,
I'm peopled.
I'm peopled.
You're peopled. And your head just full of people, those people that have partners and those people in the future where you're going to continue to see people that have partners and then there's you.
Yes.
Uh, if I want a partner and I'm alone, walking the streets of New York City, I just picked up a person's this man's hand. I'm just walking. I take his hand. He doesn't pull away. We walk. I turn left at the light, and he goes straight. Not a word. Just natural. Just natural. Natural. I'm not suggesting any of you do that. And if you're fearful, don't. You'll frighten yourself. No, this is just natural. It's what the work can give you to be at home in the world. And to look at people that are happy together and think, oh, how rare. Because for all you know, again, they're on their way to get a divorce at the courthouse. Who knows? Who knows? Don't know. It's my job to not be dependent on others.
Yeah. I just have this idea of how things should be, and if they're not the way I think they should be, I'm like this, I get disappointed.
Mm, hmm. But you can't be disappointed if your ego isn't comparing you, those images of you, with those images of them. They're so happy. They're so lucky. They really love each other, I can tell. And then there's me. Comparison. If you just look in a mirror, it doesn't matter how beautiful or handsome you are. It doesn't matter how healthy. You look in the mirror, and the ego is going to compare you and what you see to other people in the world. So we never really even see ourselves in the mirror. And this work can allow you, I'm telling you from experience, can allow you to look in the mirror and see what there is there instead of, without comparison. And without comparison, there's no one that doesn't have a beautiful, perfect body. Just imagine looking in the mirror without comparing it with anyone else. Look at you. For some of you, you'll see yourself for the very first time. And that's fair play. That's fair play to see you without comparison. And then to notice when comparison comes in, thank the ego for sharing, and then look again. Meet the love of your life. Meet the love of your life.
But don't we need to compare as well to
Oh, I'm not saying don't compare. I'm saying just in that situation, looking in the mirror, look at you without comparison. And if you do that, then you can look at a tree, for example, without comparison. And that becomes the only tree. And its beauty it'll run so deeply in you that it's like a gift. You're the one seeing it, witnessing it without comparison. It doesn't matter if the tree should be chopped down, it's so awful, or it doesn't matter. It's perfect to understanding. It's a gift without comparison. Oh my goodness.
I guess I'm just really afraid that it's true, right? It's like I notice
That you're afraid it's true you are lonely?
like that is, yeah, it's like
So,
that it's
so
me.
what I suggest is you write a worksheet on the man of your dreams, and then you do the work with everything with what you filled in on the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet.
Like, how can you give me an example of how that would look like?
Mm, my perfect man is, and then you fill in the worksheet. I want him to, da, 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 and then question those thoughts that you've moved from your head to the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet describing your perfect mate, the perfect mate to your mind, and then question it. You could really shock yourself and become just just so much more aware of what the man of your dreams is. The man of your dreams is, and it will give you a lot of clarity
Mm.
around what you're looking for, rather than settling for someone just because you want a partner, and this one will work, it'll, and then you won't be lonely and all of that. And then you end up with that man rather than him being the man you wanted him to be, and people divorce.
But I just think like that's where I'm struggling because I feel like what the idea of what men I have doesn't really matter because the fact that I have this feeling of loneliness means that it's mine, right? Like it's not like a man is not gonna fix it. Like no man will come into my life and just like
Yeah.
magically make it disappear, right? It's like something inherent to who
Okay.
I am.
Yeah. So just question, just question, I'm lonely. And without me leading you, you'll go in the direction that really is working for you.
Okay.
Giving you what only you can give you. Thank you, honey. You're not alone.
Thank
Mm,
you.
yeah. Kevin, you have a question.
Hi, Katie. It's nice to see you.
Kevin, thank you. You too.
Yeah. Here's my question. I've been doing the work a long time. That's my story. As soon as I think of the concept I, or I utter the concept I feel like I'm lying to myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because what I would that be? The I of yesterday, the I of now, which is now then, the I of when you were a little boy. What I is that? And yeah, I, everything I think is a lie. Um, you know, it just makes sense when you consider everything's an illusion.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
And
and those of you new to the work, I'm like, life is an illusion. I don't mean it that way.
yeah,
I do mean it that way, but I'm not that, it sounds flip when I say it
right.
that way. But my life, I imagine Stephen's in the kitchen right now. And we're going to catch up with on some work we have to do, and on the other side of this. And I see him in there. He may be even having a cup of tea. I see him in my mind's eye. But that's not Stephen.
Mhm.
That's pure imagination in my head that Stephen imagined. For all I know, he went to the store to purchase something he needed for breakfast.
Yeah. And
Yeah. So
something you said years ago, and to me, it was like, it says, we don't sleep, we pass out.
yeah, we just pass out from worry and stress and these thoughts the ego offers up. We believe them. We really believe what we're thinking. It's exhausting. And it can be so exhausting that, yeah, we just sometimes just pass out from the stress of what we're thinking and believing. And some of us, we take drugs or begin to drink or argue with our children, our spouses. And we're at war with what is, and we just pass out from the effort. And if it's not just passing out, on the couch or the bed, it is just wearing ourselves out, like feeling 80 years old in our 20s.
Yeah. And this thought popped up before I got on the call. Is there another book out there someplace?
Yes, honey, the Book of You.
Okay.
The Book of You on a Judge and Neighbor worksheet. That is the book I invite everyone to read.
Right.
And I
Thank
don't
you.
know how many I have, Kevin, like 4 maybe?
Yeah, I have 4 or 5. I don't know. You got the kids' book too.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I got the email on the mental cleanse, and I'm ruminating whether I want to do that or not, but we'll see.
God, I look forward, I love that New Year's cleanse, and it'll be at the Center for the Work this year, and not in one of these huge hotel ballrooms like we used to do. So it'll be intimate. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I like the school I went to back in the spring, and that I enjoyed that intimacy.
Yeah, it's a sweet space.
Yeah.
A sweet little village, sweet little space. And it's the Center for the Work is the oldest landmark. It's number one landmark in our little village. Yeah. I enjoy it too, Kevin, so much.
I will thank you very much for your time, and I'm being greedy, but I'll share you with the rest of the world.
Oh, thank you, Kevin. I'm loose. I'm free. Thanks, Kevin. Gosh, good both places, with and without you. I just appreciate you, Kevin.
Well, I appreciate you too. Thank you.
Thank you. Pedro, do you have a Judge and Neighbor worksheet? Oh, your sound, honey. Still can't hear. Still can't hear you.
Not yet.
There. Now I
Okay.
can hear
Yeah,
you.
it was the headphones.
Okay. So you filled in a Judge and Neighbor worksheet.
I did, yes.
And the situation?
Well, the situation was around this. Like, actually, it surprised me because I had a situation in my mind which was like all related to a job in a Christmas market that I rejected. But what came out was that I felt super bad, super attacked by a comment with my mother. And then everything that I wrote in the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet was about her, and that was really surprising. So I really appreciate just that exercise.
Okay, so you have a worksheet on your mother.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought that I would do a worksheet on myself, like I am angry with myself for not having gone to the market, but not at all.
No, No, when you judge yourself, you know, it's like asking the ego to judge the ego. So that's, you know, that's, I invite all of you, when you're filling a worksheet, don't write on yourself, write on someone else. When you question and turn around, you wake up to yourself and the cause of your suffering. What did you fill in for number 1, Pedro?
Yeah. In this situation, who angers, confuses her. Okay. I am angry with my mother because she has spoken to me very aggressively and accusing.
Okay. So in the situation,
I want her to be more loving to me.
no, what is the situation that you're thinking of? Are you in the kitchen? Are you at home?
Okay, yeah, it's true. The situation is a phone call. The moment when I tell her I am no longer going to the Christmas market, and then
Okay.
she replies like if I was a kid, and she was like, I don't know the verb in English. I don't know, you shouldn't.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. She's just giving you all kinds of directions on how to be,
Yes,
what to do,
yes,
what to do, kind of.
yes, yes.
Oh, honey, oh, I'll tell you, us moms. Okay, okay. So, she spoke to you aggressively. Be there now. You're on the phone with her. She spoke to you aggressively. Is it true? Listen to her words, her attitude, your words, your attitude. Listen to her response, what she's saying on the phone. She spoke to you aggressively. Is it true?
Yes.
I invite all of you to find a similar situation and do your work as Pedro does his. And Pedro, can you really know that it's true that she's speaking to you aggressively? Listen again. You're probably right. We're just double checking it. She's being aggressive. She's speaking to you aggressively. Is it true? Can you really know that it's true? And those of you new to the work, this isn't about you changing your answer at all. It's just about double checking.
No, not really.
Oh, what did you see?
I saw that she was worried and nervous. Yeah. Worried and nervous, but not aggressive.
You know, even if she were being aggressive and you could see that she's worried, and it changes the flavor, doesn't it?
Thus,
She's more worried than aggressive. That's what she sounds like when she's worried in that situation. Okay, so just be there now and notice how you react, what happens. Talking to your mom and you think she's aggressive. She's being aggressive. She's coming at me aggressively. Notice any shift in attitude you hold.
yes, I feel angry.
And where do you feel it? In your neck, your chest, where do you feel it? From the top of your head down to your feet and toes. Just get in touch.
I
Body
feel it in
scan.
my whole, I feel it in here, on top of my head, in the chest, and in the belly.
Yeah. Your mother spoke to you aggressively. Listen carefully to her words without the thought, she's speaking to me aggressively. Be there now. Who are you? Listening without the thought, she spoke to me aggressively. She's speaking to me aggressively.
Mm.
And just listen. You don't have to do what she says. Maybe it's impossible that you would do it. She's just open your mind, listen. Without the thought, she's speaking to me aggressively.
Yes, without that thought, I can feel my own fear of having made a terrible decision and my fear of the consequences. Mm.
So you're afraid of you could potentially do it wrong.
Yes,
Is that it?
wrong. I could potentially do it wrong. Yeah.
She spoke to me aggressively. Being in touch with where you were at, I spoke to her aggressively. So ponder that. Be there now. I spoke to her aggressively. Just check. How might that be so? You're fearful. You're afraid of doing it wrong. And how do you react when you think the thought she's speaking to me aggressively and you're afraid of doing it wrong? Notice your communication, your attitude, those images of past and future.
Yes, I react aggressively. I'm afraid also, but I am not in touch with the fear. I am in touch with the anger.
And this is really good to realize that aggression is a fearful state of mind coming from you. The ego, the ego's identity is being threatened. She spoke to me aggressively. What is the opposite of aggressive?
Like peacefully or
What
or
about clearly?
yeah, that's true. That resonates with me. Yeah, she spoke to me clearly.
Yeah, she knows her son. She spoke to me aggressively. I spoke to my mother aggressively. And I spoke to myself aggressively in that situation on the phone with my mom. She spoke to you accusingly. You could be right. Check it out. Be there now. Listen again. on the phone. When you're doing this work, those of you new to the work, don't guess. Anchor in the situation, the one on your worksheet. And that's where you're going to find the answers. Only there, even though they're familiar for other times and places. That's where you're going to find them, in the situation. She spoke to you accusingly. Is it true?
Yes.
And notice how you react when you think the thought. She spoke to me accusingly. Notice how you react to your mother when you think that thought.
I react and I feel sad, but I cover that sadness with anger again.
Wow. Notice that scenario when you were just a little boy with your mom. Same thing. Anytime you were thinking these things of your mom, just notice the familiarity of what you experienced on the phone with your mom in this situation.
Mm.
Familiar?
Yeah.
She spoke to me accusingly. Listen to your mom on the phone. Be there now without the thought. She's accusing me. She's making accusations. She spoke to me accusingly. Just listen to your mom. What she wants, her directions. Without the thought, she spoke to me accusingly.
Mm. Like when that thought disappears, I can be in touch with the responsibility of my actions on her and on the people who love me. Like when the reaction disappears, I just can face the responsibility and the pain that I feel when I am in touch with that. Makes me an adult rather than a kid.
Wow. We're pretty ageless, aren't we?
Sorry?
We're fairly ageless, aren't we?
Yeah. Yes.
My mother spoke to me accusingly. I spoke to my mother accusingly.
Mhm.
So ponder that. See if you can match that up with anything you said or did. I spoke to my mother accusingly in that situation on the phone.
Not really, I would say.
I spoke to myself accusingly in that situation on the phone with my mother.
definitely.
Yeah, so that's where the guilt came in. That fear of letting your mother down, of doing it wrong. You're already imagining that on the phone, and you haven't even gone to the Christmas market yet.
No, but it was when I told her that I am not longer going, and she was disappointed. She like that happened. That was, I would say, a reality. I could also self-inquiry that, but
Yeah. Okay. Number 2, in that situation on the phone with your mother, what did you want? What did you want her to think, say, feel, or do?
well, I want her to be more loving to me, to be compassionate, kind, and sweet. I want her to speak to me more lovingly, and yes, I want her to be a safe space for me. Somehow, like forgiving. Maybe I want a saint. I don't want a mother.
Oh, our mothers are wiser than that. We're here to wake you up. I'm glad to know there's a survivor out there. You're working through it. So you want her to be loving to you.
Yes.
Is it true? You can hear her more clearly now after working number 1. You want her to be loving to you. Is it true?
Yes, definitely yes.
Did you want her to be loving to you or okay, just notice how you react when you think the thought in that situation. I want her to be loving to me. And you told her you weren't going to the Christmas market.
Yeah, I told her that I'm not going. Yeah. And she has
You want,
paid for the flights and everything. Yeah.
and you want her to be loving to you.
Yes.
Some others, some others aren't quite there in every situation. Notice how you treat your mother when you think the thought you want her to be loving to you and you're not
Yeah.
going to this market.
Yeah. It's like I don't see her, and I judge her, like I don't see all the things that she has done for me, and I don't see all the love that she shows to me in different ways that maybe I would like to. Yes, I
Now
would.
notice what you say and do when you think the thought in that situation. I want her to be loving to me.
Yeah, when I think that I want her to be loving to me, right? To speak to me loving. Yes, I think.
So what do
What?
you say? What do you do when you want her to be loving to you and she's disappointed?
When she wants to be loving to me and she's disappointed.
She's being aggressive to your mind and accusing.
Mm-hmm.
So she's being, I want her to be loving to me, turned around. Let's try this turn around. I want me to be loving to her.
Yes, I want me to be. Wow, that's definitely. I want. Yeah. I want to be loving to her. Yes,
So
definitely.
be there on the phone, courageously listen to her every word, and live this turnaround. I want her to be loving to me. Turn it around, put the shoe on the other foot in that situation.
Mm.
I want me to be loving to her. Listen to her
Wow.
words with understanding. and compassion.
Wow. Yes, it's like if I hadn't forgiven her for things in the past somehow, and I am still angry at her and not being able to show her my love and my compassion.
You see how much of it is habitual, like the old grudge, the old grudge, the old grudge, the old grudge, just building up in your childhood, just like the rest of us, as we're living with our mothers, our family.
Mhm.
It's all there, and we're asleep to it. And we just say and do things that are hurtful. And we just, why did I do that? Why did I stay? You know, this wakes us up to the whys. The why. I want my mother to be compassionate, turn around, listen to her with, you know, compassionately. She's disappointed. Those of you new to the work, you don't listen with the goal of changing your mind about what you said that could happen, but just notice who you are in that situation just the way it does, without the thought, I want her to be compassionate. Anchor in, I want me to be compassionate toward her in that situation. So listen, she could be right on every point.
And
Maybe,
yeah,
maybe one or 2 points.
and I think she was in all of the points. Like
Yeah.
it's not the content, it's the way of telling things. But also I realized when I was doing now this indagation inquiry, I realized that having been compassionate and loving towards her would have been not calling her straightforward as I received the message, because the emotion was really, really high. So now I realized, like, it's like I wanted my portion of guiltiness and punishment, and I receive it. Oh boy, I did receive it, but from myself, not from her. I just got what I was unconsciously, or my ego was looking for. So now I realize that another loving action and decision would have been to wait for the right moment to communicate this to her. It shouldn't have to be right at the same time. When I had these emotions, and it would have been like, Mom, I want to tell you something. I don't want you to be angry.
Very wise.
Yes. And I think that would have changed these inversions. Like, I want to be compassionate to her, I want to be loving to her, would have been, would have happened.
Instead, you became the parent treating her like a child. That I know mind.
That I know mine.
Yeah, I know mind.
Yes. Yes, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Teacher's mind. I want to set my mother straight. So you're the parent, and she's becoming the child in your in that.
Yes. Wow, Byron, thank you so much. Really.
And now consider competitiveness, winning and losing. Reducing the parent to your superiority, authority. You're teaching, reprimanding, not compassionate, not loving, all the things, not sweet, not kind and sweet. Everything you want from her, you're living the opposite. So how is your mother going to learn? You know, we're all here in Earth School. So you're teaching her not to be who you want her to be.
Wow. Yeah, because I think that it's her who has to show that to me because I am the son, and yeah. And that's very arrogant, being an adult.
And it stunts your growth.
Yes.
It keeps you stuck, you know. You blink of an eye, you're in your 80s and you're in the same mental trap as you
Yes.
look at the world the way you do your mother on occasion.
Yes.
That's the opposite of living as a student. It's living as a teacher, and it's really can get really lonely because seldom do people listen when we're trying to teach them where they're wrong.
Wow. Yeah.
So, you know, amends it takes, you know, a lot of courage. It's like calling your mom later and giving you your turnaround. It's like, Mom, on the phone call, I want to be more, on phone calls, I want to be more loving to you and more compassionate and kinder and sweeter. I want to be I want to be a safe place for you. And I apologize for my arrogance, my response to your request that I go to the Christmas market. I sincerely apologize. And when you notice that attitude in me, please let me know. Don't hesitate, because I am stuck in old ways, and you remind me of what I need reminding of, and that would really help me. But oh boy, all of you out there don't even hear what I just said if you don't mean it, because the ego just takes it on like another way of teaching people and getting what we want and looking good. That's so not it. Compassion, that's just loving. It's being a safe space. You know, we want other people to be that, but how do we be that? Okay, so let's go to number 3 and find some answers. In that situation, to get what you want from her, what advice would you offer her? She shouldn't, in that situation on the phone?
I feel embarrassed now to say this.
Yeah. We're so justified, and now it's like, oops.
But I will say, in this situation, she shouldn't speak to me so furiously. She should understand that this behavior only increases my feeling of guiltiness. Oh, I see myself as a victim now, and that's not good. And makes me myself as well as become scared, frozen, and feel unloved. She should express her worries and fears about me in a more peaceful way. She should trust me and life and stop believing that she knows what should have happened and what should not.
I mean, hey, you're taking arrogance to a whole new level here.
Please don't publish this. Well, this is in the middle of the video. Can put a tomato on my face.
God, you know, and I can afford to laugh. I've done this work. Oh my God. There's only one person in the entire world to fix, and it turned out to And how do you treat your mother when you're putting all of these beliefs onto her in your head? When you believe the thought she shouldn't speak to you furiously like that, and she wasn't furious.
Yeah, it's like I feel superior. It's like if I knew how to be a mother better than her.
Okay, so let's teach someone who let's teach the teacher, okay? The teacher or the mom, let's turn it around in that situation and live through it, be on the phone, anchored there, and read. I shouldn't speak to her, and read the whole thing that way. And read it like a prayer, you know, be there now on the phone. I shouldn't.
Okay. There you go. I shouldn't speak to her so furiously. I should understand that this behavior only increases her feeling of
My
guilt.
her guilt and my guilt.
Makes her punish herself as well as become scared, frozen, and feel unloved. I should express my worries and fears about her in a more peaceful way. I should trust her and life and stop believing that I know what should have happened and what should not have happened. Wow.
You know, I love these number 3 is advice. You know, advice to her. And when we turn around like that, it's advice to ourselves in that situation. Clear advice right out of something we can trust ourselves. I shouldn't speak to myself so furiously. So do it again and put you on all of it. And I should understand.
Or with me.
I should understand that I increase my guilt.
Yeah. Okay. I shouldn't speak to me so furiously. I should understand that my behavior only increases my feeling of guiltiness. Wow. And makes me punish myself as well as become scared, frozen, and feel unloved.
And if you hold right there, it's really powerful hearing your words with my experience of that is the cause of all addiction. Just what you said, you know, what comes to mind is like ice cream we said we'd never eat, drugs we said we'd never take again, alcohol we said we'd never drink again, whatever it is that we know not to do, we do it. It's the image of that, let's say, ice cream comes into our head and we see it and it shows us where it is in the freezer. It shows what flavor, we hope is there. And it's just so vivid. And then craving happens and we follow it. That is what guilt does. It anchors us as physical beings in the world. Because these things that you said and did with your mother and what you were thinking of believing with your mother in that situation is the cause of your guilt. But we blame it on our mothers, for example. They, you know, she upset me and then we just, you know, I just give up. And then we do the addiction, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's a complete projection.
Yeah. Because we've got to stop the guilt. We've got to stop it. 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 And we don't even realize it's happening, but we've got to justify what we said and did. That's the ego's world. Justification, but it creates identity. And it sticks until we wake up to something else. So continue to read, and I, in that situation, and I shouldn't.
Well, I will repeat it because I shouldn't speak to me so furiously. I should understand that this behavior only increases my feeling of guiltiness and makes me punish myself, as well as become scared, frozen, and feel unloved. I should express my worries and fears about me in a more peaceful way. I should trust me and life and stop believing that I know what should have happened and what should not. Wow. Incredible.
Yeah, really incredible, because the advice you wanted for her is the advice you could use. Because it's the opposite of how to live if you want the absence of suffering and guilt.
Yeah, it brings me back the responsibility. I stop playing the victim.
And then again, you call your mom and, Mom, I shouldn't speak to you. I apologize, for that call. I shouldn't speak to you so furiously. And I should understand that I'm just increasing your guilt, just working on when you just into winning and losing, like I'm right and you're wrong. I apologize for that. And I apologize for expressing, my worries and fears in a non-peaceful way. You use your own words for this, not mine, but it's all there when it comes to making it right and starting over. Self-realization, until it's lived, has no life. So righting our wrongs allows the ego to understand it can survive, that we're not trying to kill it, that we appreciate it, because the guilt really is there to support us, to here in Earth School, to wake us up. I could talk a lot about that, but self-realization, until it's lived, has no powerful. So the next time you talk someone aggressively, anyone, notice, start over. Accusingly, as soon as you notice, just notice. Maybe apologize and start over. When you find yourself, and I'm coming from your words, when you want someone to be loving toward you and they're not, and you get hurt, angry, start over. I want me to be more loving to me and to other people. It's all here. I'm reading your words on my iPad. Your words on my iPad. And 1 through 6, all the way through. Just, okay, precious, let's look at 3 again. My mother should speak to me furiously. So check it out. Why might that be true when you consider your attitude on that phone call.
Yes, because that would
You
place
know
me.
your mom, you were pushing her buttons.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, definitely. I provoked this situation. Like, it's not something that came up out of nowhere. I just took the phone and called her. Yeah. So she should speak to me like seriously. Yeah, definitely.
Seriously, and she should not understand that she increases my guilt.
Yeah, because that's not true. She doesn't have that power.
Only you do.
Yeah. That's true. I would try to make her feel guilty if I said that to her. Like, you're making me. Yeah. Wow. I was so blind. I cannot. Yeah.
Yeah. And she should not express worries and her fears about you in a peaceful way. Why might that be? You're difficult to talk to when you're in that state of mind.
Yes, Byron. Yeah.
And she should not trust you in life and stop believing that you know what should happen and what shouldn't. And believing that you know that what should happen and what she should and shouldn't.
Yes.
Now you understand, Pedro, that I'm coming from your words on 3, and we've turned it around now to the self, to the other, and to the opposite. And each one of those are mind-blowing.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just like, oh, I've got it. And then you turn around to the self or to the opposite. It's a whole other view. And direction, clear direction coming out of your own intelligence. It's just like a mirror. You're just, you're seeing what's in the mirror, but that's not real. It's a reflection. So the work is a reflection of what you're thinking and believing as ego. And it's attempt to, I know mind, as the Buddhists might say.
Wow.
This is something they don't teach us in textbooks because it's unique to each of us. I mean, the entire world is your world as you believe it to be. And no two people live in the same world, so you take care of yours.
Mm-hmm.
And your mother's in your world.
Yeah.
Okay, honey, let's look at 4.
In order for me to be happy in this situation, what do I need her to think, say, feel, or do? Well, I need my mother to forgive me and accept. My God. Now I can read this. Okay, I go. I need her to forgive me and accept me as I am. I need her to show me that she loves me with affection, warmth, kindness. I need her to manage her anger first. My God. Wow, this is so embarrassing. And then to be open to understand what is happening to me. So I need her to manage her first, her anger, and then to be open to understand what is happening to me. Wow. I need her to tell me, I love you beyond your supposed mistakes. I need her to be a safe space for me. Wow. This is really embarrassing. And I wasn't aware at all when I wrote this.
Yeah, that's an honest worksheet because it's a state of mind we're in when in that situation and the cause of our suffering. And how do you treat your mother? when you think the thought that to be happy, you need her to forgive you and accept you as you are.
Wait a second. I'm going to close the window. I'm getting a little cold. 1 second. So how do I feel when I believe that?
How do you react on the phone? What happens? Notice your words, notice your attitude. How do you react when you think the thought to be happy? I need her to forgive me, to accept me as I am, to show me she loves me, to manage her anger for me, to be open to what I have to say. I'm angry. I want her to be open to understand what is happening to me when it's all about you telling her no, and to also tell you that she loves you. How do you react when you think the thought, to be happy, I need her to forgive me for not going to the Christmas market when she asked me to?
Mhm. Well, it's like if I put a wall between her and me,
Oh,
and
honey, just be with that. You've created a wall.
yeah,
There's you, and then there's an enemy.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yeah, totally.
The ego doesn't like being glorified. It doesn't like being disrespected.
Yeah, totally.
Its life is in danger without that. I need her to forgive me. Turned around in that situation, I need me.
Forgive her.
So do that now and listen to her words.
I need me to forgive her.
Listen to her. There's nothing new since you were just a little guy. That's your mom.
Mm, yeah,
And to
I
be
need me.
happy, I need me to forgive me.
I need me to forgive me.
Yeah. For everything that you've experienced so far in this worksheet. Admit your wrongs, make it right where you can to live these turnarounds. These are your medicine. This is your medicine. These turnarounds, having questioned them, you turn around, it's your medicine, it's how to live. It's nothing your mother gave you. It's nothing anyone can give you but you. No one. I don't know any way to live these turnarounds other than self-realization, which is what I'm witnessing in you on a scale from 1 to 10, a 10.
Yes,
So I need me to accept her as she is.
definitely, absolutely.
I need me to show her that I love her. And this is a way of life. And if you can do it with your mother, you can do it with every human being. Every human being in your life is as you believe them to be, just like your mother on this worksheet. I need me to manage my anger and listen. Just notice when you're angry, open your mind, listen, witness, get still. To be happy, I need me to be open to understanding what is happening to me. I need me to be open and understand what is happening to me when I'm in that state of mind, anger.
Mhm.
disappointment, fear. And yours was really fear. You know, you were afraid you couldn't give her what she wanted.
Yeah.
And that's loving in its own way, you know. You want to please your mother. That's the base of this. Did I understand that correctly? Afraid that you really couldn't do it.
Wow.
And took it out on her.
Mm.
Your motive was kind, and it just came out like a dictator, a punisher. A punisher is, you know, I'm just using that term as I'm right, she's wrong.
Yeah.
Also, what comes to mind is I don't want to disappoint her. It's the fear of disappointing her.
Definitely, definitely. And I think that's the cause of so many doubts I have. It's like, will this decision disappoint my parents or no?
So you might, I'll just share what came to my head. You might call her. And these things that I offer up like this, I've done them, or I wouldn't recommend them or suggest them, but you might call her and say, you know, this may sound really odd, but it really matters to me. Would you please make a list of think of me and make a list of where I disappoint you? Or when you think of me, what disappoints you about me? And that's a hard ask of our parents. But you can ask an enemy, and you know, someone that easily sees your flaws to their mind. Ask them to make a list of what is it about me you don't like or don't respect or like. And then I find that people can see me much more clearly than I can when it comes to ego.
Yeah.
Like if I have an enemy, I would call that enemy right away and just say, what is it about me that rubs you the wrong way? And then really listen. Because an enemy is strong enough sometimes to tell you the truth, whereas a friend is really careful and doesn't want to hurt your feelings. But I was hardcore. I wanted to know. I didn't want to leave one little thing undone.
And you did this.
Oh, yeah, I still do. People hold the key to who I am in their world. And it could be something that I'm missing. I wouldn't change for that person at all. But if it makes sense, I want to change what I'm asleep to for my sake. And the clearer, more loving I become, the clearer, more loving I am in the world, and the better example I am in the world, which is righting my wrongs from my earliest memories all the way up. It's a wonderful way to live. And it leaves you free to live your life without leaving all those breadcrumbs behind you, that unfinished business.
Yes, there.
So let's look at 5. In that situation on the phone with your mom, what do you, my mom is. Who is your mom and your state of mind in that situation? My mom is.
I wrote very, very bad words. I don't want to say them.
Okay,
But
so read only the ones you can,
okay.
that you feel comfortable with.
She's a stone. She's a stupid person. She's cold. She's a perfect. She's a Mrs. Perfect. I know the truth, and I don't make mistakes. Kind of person. She's a fucking monk. Do you say monk also for women? Yes, right?
Sure.
Yeah, and she's a stone. I don't know if I said that. And I hate you.
Okay. So I'm looking at that as your mother, and you're giving me some great tips. Now, your mother may not see it that way, so this stays with you. But in that situation with my mom, I am stone.
Mhm.
I am stupid. Now, give me an example of where you're stupid. For example, you weren't really listening to her. You were defensive and arrogant,
Yeah.
argumentative. She is stupid, turned around. She was wise. Give me an example of where she was wise, dealing with you in that situation, with your attitude the way it was.
Yeah, she was wise with a comment, which was, you got what you wanted. Like it happened you wanted. Yeah. With job, and that was true. Instead of telling them I don't feel secure about going to the market, I just made the situation happen. So she was wise telling me that.
Yeah. Another example, she was wise.
In that conversation.
I have one you could try on. Would you like to hear it? She
Yes.
didn't push you too far.
Sorry?
She didn't push you too far.
Mm,
You can just try it on.
okay. In which way she didn't push me on too far? Like letting myself being too arrogant, or I don't understand this expression.
She didn't argue with you to the point. She didn't push you too.
Yeah.
She listened to you.
Yes. Actually, and that happened because after a few, very, very few words, she said, "Well, I don't want to speak anymore," and she hung.
Whoa!
Yeah. She wasn't there. Like, yeah, she's a monk. She's not a fucking monk, but she's like actually the Loving What If book was from her, and she's like very. She has a lot of inner work, and yeah. So she's wiser, way wiser than me.
Yeah. I don't see any human being as wiser than another. I see we all hold equal wisdom, but the ego, these identities that we're holding, they could use a little work because they override our wisdom. They talk us out of what's right in the interest of security. That's what the ego cares about: security, it's safety, as I am. And so it's always about the money, the way people see us, security, how we look. I mean, all of that. The ego's just busy. I.
Yeah.
So in that situation, my mother was perfect.
In that situation, my mother was perfect.
My mother was perfect. let's see, in that situation,
Yeah, like a Mrs. I made up like a word which is like a Mrs. Perfect. I know the truth. Like someone who is like,
oh,
yeah,
good. Okay, so is it true?
that she was a Mrs. Perfect. I know the truth. No, absolutely
In,
not.
in that situation?
No, no, absolutely not.
She talked to you as long as she could. And if she really wanted to spare you, she would cut the conversation short because you're hurting yourself.
Mm,
She may be aware of that.
mm, yes.
So in that situation, I am conversation with my mom on the phone. I am stone. And continue.
In that conversation with my mom, I said there is another one that I could have said, a snake.
A snake, yeah. So I'm in that situation with my mom. I was stone.
I was a stone, I was a snake, I was a stupid person, I hate me. I was a fucking monk, I was a Mr. Perfect, I know the truth. And I was someone who doesn't make mistakes. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, it's when you talk to your mom, you might say, Mom, I apologize for that phone call. I was cold and I was like stone. I was stupid and I was sounding like the perfect, I know the truth. And
I'm living with her actually at the moment.
yeah, so, and I apologize for that. I'm working on it. Anytime you see me in that attitude, you have my permission just to call me on it. And I'll do my best not to get angry, but just to do my work instead. But I don't issue those invitations if I don't mean it. Whew. Oh, my kids love that invitation and they still love it today. They can say anything. And they trust I'm listening, I'm going to grow from it,
Mm.
and that I'm grateful. Also
Mm.
grateful. And my grandchildren grow me, my friends grow me.
Mm.
You know, it's and my enemies. Um, Boy, if you want to look in the mirror, find an enemy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't have to make that phone call because after not going to Germany, I came to live with her. So I
Ah,
have her like a few rooms on the other side, and I think maybe not today, but we can have this conversation
yeah,
in person.
yeah, beautiful.
Mm.
Okay, so 6.
Okay. Number 6.
You know, my mother was stone. Turn it around. What's the opposite of stone?
A feather?
Yeah, my mother was stone. My mother was amiable.
But I think wow, that's interesting. I wrote my mom is a stone, like a rock.
Uh-huh.
You say stoned, like the adjective?
No, you're right. I'm with the same word.
Ah,
I mean,
okay.
yeah,
Okay. And what did you mean?
my mother is like, her attitude is like stone. She just, she just keeps, just won't change her mind. My mother's
Yeah,
like stone.
and rigid and without feelings, without emotions, like.
Yeah. So find opposites to those and then
Yeah.
anchor in that phone call in your mind's eye and listen. My mother was Mrs.
Soulful.
was Mrs. Perfect. No, I know the truth. Turned around, her mind was open.
Yeah. And my mom was humble.
And you can try those on as you look back at this worksheet. So now let's look at number 6. And Pedro, it's like on the other side of our time together, if you work this worksheet, the same worksheet again, you're working that worksheet out of as a more enlightened, open-minded, kinder human being. And you don't even have to hear those words. It's just you're working exactly the same worksheet out of a more enlightened mind.
Like the same situation.
Same situation.
Okay.
And you'll see things that you miss that the two of us miss together that'll just blow your mind. And those of you new to the work, this entire thing, even though we're talking, this is a silent exercise. You with you without a teacher other than some apparent enemy in your life. And it could be the people you love most. But sometimes we're angry and we're defensive. But let's look at 6. In that
Okay.
situation, what is it you never want to experience with her again?
I don't ever want my mother to speak to me in this aggressive way.
I'm willing that my mother
I'm willing that my mother speaks to me in this aggressive way.
and I look forward to my mother.
I look forward to my mother speaking to me in this aggressive way.
Okay. Now, for me, what I came out with originally is how loud do people have to get before I can hear, before I can even listen? And I use example like with Paul that I was married to when the work found me. And he was just so fearful for me when the work found me because I'm agoraphobic and just lost to the world and terrible, fearful state of mind. And then when the work found me, I'm out in the world. I mean, I'm out of the house and he was really worried. And sometimes he'd say, "Don't do it. You don't know where you're going." And he would curse. He's like, "Jesus Christ, Kate, what the hell are you doing?" And I just think, what the hell am I doing?
Mm.
Where do I think I'm going? As I would go, I'd go out into the world with discovering the answers to his questions. So he's my teacher, he's not my enemy.
Mm. That's really wise.
And when you're walking down like a city street and there's someone that maybe is it seems over the bend and they're yelling and they're having a rough time. They're like talking to themselves and people are walking around them because they, have you ever run into any situation like that? Like someone, it's not uncommon in places I've been where they're just out of their head on the streets, and they're just, they're not functional enough to maybe have a home or anything, and they're just like the world's coming to an end and things like that, or they're coming to get you, or whatever it is. Listen, question it. That connects you with that human being, and all the fear is gone. It's no different, Pedro, than talking to your mom on the phone once you've done this work. When you understand yourself, you understand the world and its guidance.
Okay.
So, Pedro, I'm going to ask people for their takeaways, as I love that, my takeaway with you is I love your silence. I love your ability to look within and to own it. I love your how open you are to the cause of your suffering, and how to wake up to it. We all witness that in you, and my takeaway is thank you. Just thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, Tor, honey, your takeaway today with our teacher, Pedro.
Thank you, Pedro and Katie. And my takeaway was the simple version is my enemy is my teacher. I've been in a recent deep conflict trying to start a relationship with someone, and I was just about to, and it probably, I don't know what's going to happen. We just had this really painful dynamic communication, and I was just like, I was just going to walk away.
Yeah.
And it was a part of
Here's when to walk away. When you love your family totally, then make the decision. It doesn't mean you still can't walk away, but love them first. Because if you don't, whatever you're walking away to, you're taken with you. No escape.
Yeah.
Yeah, our families are no more, no less than our state of mind. Yeah, just remember Pedro's mother.
Yes. Well, I'm still after, I think I found you in the work 21 years ago or something, and I'm still working up the courage to do a Judge Your Neighbor on my mother.
Oh my gosh. Well, remember
Hey.
Pedro. If he can do it, you can do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I have a little more courage now, thanks to Pedro.
Yeah. Thank you, Tora.
Thank you.
Justin.
Oh, Katie and Pedro, wow.
Yeah.
Every time I tune in, what the most common thought that runs through my head as I'm listening is, Justin, if you could just put this episode on repeat until you get it, your life will be saved. Like every time we meet, I think this is the end all be all, most important information I've ever received. And this episode was no different. Pedro, I'm super impressed with your worksheet. And whenever people get to 6 and it's like really ruthless with a lot of cuss words, there's always a cringe in me. But I just want to share mine, Pedro. I did one with an ex-spouse. And man, if you could really get this number 6 with your mother, maybe it'll spare you a divorce, because this is still like this. I did this worksheet like 2 months ago, but this was alive in me during the whole marriage. I don't ever want her to think, speak, look, dress, or behave in a way that conflicts with what I want from her in any given moment. I mean,
Oh, you know, so I think I'll move on, but what you're thinking of believing will just be attached to the next one. It's just a matter of time. Because your wife is your state of mind.
oh, wow.
And she can never be more than that in your world.
And you know what's funny? All the stuff about reaching out and making amends. Would you, I mean, yeah, feel free, all of you, to just laugh till the end of time on that one. But that's ego in its prime. And
Those of us would be laughing or just saying, me too, that it's not unfamiliar.
what a commentary on that you would be someone, Katie, who could create a space that I feel safe enough to share that.
Oh, sweetie. Oh, my. Oh, thank you for that. Oh, you know, it's just my life is, I love you. Bring it. Show me. I'm a student. Always.
Lately, I've been wondering, how can I love my past? How can I give the ego literally a home in me now, where I can look at these worksheets and just not hate who I've been, but how to really make the ego at home, and to even be grateful that it is this mirror.
It would be, honey, it would be to do your worksheets and live the turnarounds. And when you're unable to, it's another worksheet. Just get that old worksheet and work through it again. And just, you know, worksheet a day keeps the ego at bay in a beautiful way, an inclusive way. In fact, it is what offers up what to work on. I mean, it's not an enemy. It is it's nothing. But you can't. An ego is a state of mind. So
I had actually sent out an email to my ex's family, asking them for feedback on me some years ago, maybe
wow.
5 years ago. Only one responded, but look, like today's session with Pedro had me, and all that you said about the mirror and sending out these emails and asking, I typed out every sentence you spoke, and I'm looking back on that email, and I think my ego was kind of like comparing myself to her, and my ego was wanting feedback to where I could get their email responses and then compare it to, but I think I want to do it again differently with
Yeah,
the spirit in which you were.
Yes, for sure, because you have some motives attached there that would support the ego, not wake it up.
Precisely. And I just want to get woken up and stay that way and be in the juice that was between you and Pedro today. And
Yeah. Well, just go find an enemy. And
I've got a few still, yeah.
and if you're
Thank
awake,
you.
you can't make that enemy an enemy. You can only see that enemy as a teacher. Oh gosh, Mick Jagger, you know, you get what you need.
I love you, Katie.
Love
I
you too.
love that you meet with us Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays.
It's my privilege, and speaking for staff as well. Thank you, honey.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Ray. Hey, Ray.
I'm trying to get can you hear me?
Huh? Yes. No.
Now?
Yes.
Okay, first of all, for Pedro, thank you for that. I've worked on my mother a few times. And when I started working on her, she was already dead. You are so lucky to be able to work on your mother at such a young age. And my gosh, by the time you're 40 years old, Have it all cleaned up, and that'd be wonderful.
You know, Ray, you having said that, I can say to all of you that, for example, Pedro, the work you did on your mother and the truths you found will affect every human being as you see them to be for all the days of your life, because you can't unsee what you have come to see. And the ego's job is to override it. So a worksheet today, it's the cure for mental illness, and to be, and anger is a mental illness. It's a state of mind. Thank you, Ray.
I'm not done. If you got one more minute.
Okay.
And just one other thing to emphasize what you just said to Pedro. It not only is going to clean up his mom, but it'll clean up everybody,
Yeah,
you know, in his life. But I just had a real quick question. I worked with you, I don't know, 6 months ago on my mother, and you helped me to understand that she saw that I was becoming like my father, taking on alcoholic habits and stuff like that. And I'm clear on that. But when I work with somebody on almost anything, if I start to get fighty, and feel unseen, I always go back to this 6-year-old. And so the energy is still there. So I'm pretty sure I know my answer, but I still need maybe the confirmation. To, even though I've seen from my mother's point of view and I understand where she's coming from to some extent, and I've definitely lightened up on how I feel about it, it seems to me I still need to stay with that energy of feeling not being seen until I've evaporated it. Does that make sense? In other words,
Well, you know, other people, if there are 100 people experiencing me, there are 100 different Byron Katies, plus mine, so that's 101. So it's not about the way people see me, it's the way that I see me and the way that I see people that matters. People, maybe they can afford, using a strong word, let's say, to hate me. Do I hate them? But I understand hate, so how could I hate them for experiencing a state of mind? I mean, people cannot help their state of mind.
it's my state of mind. I know that, but I just feel that when it's there, when I'm doing the work, I need to stay with it rather than move on to, oh, well, I understand. Does that make sense?
Again, just remember Pedro, and there's your teacher.
Yeah. Okay.
There you are. Thank you, Ray.
Thank you.
Mhm. You know, I'd love to, I'd love to, I'd love to. Okay, I see that our time's up. And Pedro, thank you for being our teacher today and doing your mother work. And we can put in any name on where we have the word mother. Those of you new to the work, welcome. The work is a way to identify and question the thoughts that cause all the suffering in your world. If you're up for that in Earth School, which is what Earth School is all about. It's about waking up to the gift of life, the gift without opposite of life. And it's wonderful being again with you this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And thank you, dears, for thank you for silence.